Okay. The floor is yours, Reidun and Eglé.
Okay, thank you so much for allowing us to come and to see you. I'm Reidun Norvoll from Oslo, working at Oslo Met, and I'm the coordinator of the project You Count. And I'm here with Eglé. You might present yourself, maybe also.
Okay, hello everybody. I am Eglé Butkeviciene from Kaunas University of Technology from Lithuania, and I'm also a part of UCount project. And today we will share some insights from the project together with Reidun.
So yes, and we will. What we're going to do is to give an introduction to citizen social science, and then inputs or to how citizen social science can be used in practice. And then we will use this UCount project, just started actually in the beginning, as an example how you can do this in practice. So we will start by giving you some introduction to the concepts and how we do work in the UCount project. And then we will have some group work when you are going into breakout rooms and discuss some questions that we will give you. And then we have a summary in the group again. And Eglé will show you how to work with the Padlet and everything. So guide you on this. So sorry about this. What can citizen social science contribute with? It is very simple to say that it can give us more knowledge of the social and political challenges as seen from the citizens or the citizen group's own perspectives, and their suggestions to possible solutions of social challenges, for example, or issues. And it can also contribute with social transformation through co-created or citizen-informed policymaking, social innovation, community development, and planning, for example. So it's a way to use or research to create social change and social innovations. It can be used as this. And it's also a tool to enhance citizenship and citizen engagement. So this is some of the areas that you can use citizen social science for. And then I can tell you a bit more about the definitions of citizen.
Yes, I would like, if I want to describe citizen social science, I would like to start first of all from the introducing the definition of citizen science. In the literature, you can find many definitions we can describe citizen science, and one of them you see here. One of them says that citizen science might be described as scientific activities in which non-professional scientists volunteer to participate in data collection, analysis, and dissemination of a scientific project. On the other hand, citizen social science as a term might be associated with either a form of citizen science in the social sciences or one that has a specific focus on the social aspects of citizen science. So thinking about what are the differences between citizen science and citizen social science, I would like to emphasize several points. First of all, citizen science is a broader concept, while citizen social science might be an integral part of citizen science, as I said before, one that has a specific focus on the social aspects of citizen science. Second point would be that citizen social science is still an emerging concept. We speak about citizen science since 1995, but the concept of citizen social sciences emerged just recently, about 2014 or similar period. So it's a much younger concept. The third thing is in the difference in the differences in the object of citizen science and citizen social sciences, because thinking about citizen social sciences, they use citizens to gather data about social world they observe, about social problems that people identify and want to solve. Then thinking about differences in the social impact, I would say that while citizen science uses citizens as policy passive objects for research in conducting measurements for a big data sets or something similar, citizen social science framework makes citizens as participants within the research process by actively enabling them to explore this transformational potential, how they can change institutionalized research and policy systems. Then thinking about methods and differences in the methods. Citizen social science is often linked to the participatory approaches, and especially emphasizing participatory action research, which is not necessarily a case when we speak about citizen science projects in other disciplines. And finally, I would say that citizen social science is underpinned by multiple disciplines. It does not go just alone as a discipline. Usually, it is a mix of other disciplines as well. And in this case, citizen social science is kind of practiced through both an approach and a bridging concept between the natural and environmental sciences and social sciences and humanities. Next, please. Reidun, can you?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
So thinking about levels of engagement, levels of participation in social citizen science projects, now I would emphasize here the classification presented by Muki Hakley, very famous citizen science researcher. And he suggested to identify 4 different levels of engagement, of participation of citizens in citizen science projects. So level 1, we can call it crowdsourcing. At the most basic level, this participation is limited to the provision of resources, and the cognitive engagement is here at minimum level. This might be called, as you see, crowdsourcing. The examples is volunteer computing. Another example is where scientists ask participants to carry sensors around and bring the data back. The advantage of this approach is that it is controlled to great extent, but the most valuable input, I would say, participants' cognitive abilities here are quite wasted. The second level, we can call it distributed intelligence, in which the cognitive ability of the participants is the resource that is being used. And here we can come with examples like a Galaxy Zoo, and many of the classic citizen science projects are working at this level. The participants are asked to take some basic training and then collect data to carry out a simple interpretation activities. Then level 3, that is especially relevant in community science, and we might call it participatory science. In this level of participation, the problem definition is set by the participants, and in consultation with scientists and experts, a data collection method might be chosen. The participants are then engaged in data collection, but require the assistance of the experts in analysis and especially in interpreting the results of what they found in this research. And the fourth level, the highest level of engagement, as Muki Hackley suggests, might be called extreme citizen science. This is collaborative science and emphasizing completely integrated activity. The participants can choose their level of engagement and can be potentially involved in the analysis and also publication or utilization of results. This form of citizen science can be termed, as I mentioned, extreme citizen science, and requires the scientists to act as facilitators. In addition to also opens the possibility of citizen science without any professional scientist interruption or engagement, in which the whole process might be carried out by only citizen scientists. So thinking about all these levels of participation, we can say that the citizen social science projects are mostly demand-driven. We did a literature analysis and found that the liaisons of the social sciences with citizen science emerge through the need to learn more about different facets of societal needs and societal problems. And here, especially in citizen social science projects, there is a great potential to reach this fourth level of participation, where participants might be not just like engaged in data gathering, but also in definition of the problem and even interpretation of results, and even publishing and utilization of results. But what we found in reality, so it is a potential, right? But what we found in reality, analyzing articles that present data and the results from different citizen social projects. Unfortunately, despite this potential, the role of citizens in the research cycle is mostly remains contributory by taking part in data collection. And there, we found just only a few cases where citizens were involved in the whole research process. And thinking about methods for citizens' involvement in are the most often digital, and just we found several cases where it were personal, like experimentation, gaming, gamification, and other methods have been used to involve them in like real life activities. Also, next, please, Reidun. So here you see the example, what we can, how can we classify or illustrate what is citizen social science project. I won't go into the details here. You will have all the slides and you can read it just to better understand how we can classify, what projects we can classify as citizen social science projects. And if you want to read more examples, you always can check the reference. As you see, it is the example taken from the book Science of Citizen Science, and it is an open access book, so you can check all the examples and read more about not just social citizen science, citizen social science, but also the other aspects of citizen science as well, as it is open access book. And just finalizing my input, I would say that thinking about engagement into citizen science and also in citizen social sciences. Different countries exhibit different patterns. As you see in this chart, in this map, this map presents some data regarding the engagement with science in Europe, in different European countries, but the same tendencies are seen thinking and speaking about citizen science. As you see, citizen science in Eastern and Central Europe is much less developed compared to Western countries. So I think in Ukraine, there is a similar situation, but of course you can contribute with your insights and your thoughts in our next part, where we will focus on a workshop and on your contributions. So thank you. Reidun, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yes, I will just continue a little bit of what you said and described very well, Eglé, and that is that like citizen social science is very often characterized by participatory research or innovation. And like I said, it's different levels of participation. Miyuki Hakley, he used this extreme citizen science concept, but we often speak about co-creation instead. It's a bit similar to this. It means that citizens are working together with social scientists, creating and communicating new knowledge. So they are part of the whole process, from research designing up to writing up and scientific communication. But what I think is quite important is to understand that it's easy to say that the co-creative thing is this is the correct thing or the best thing, that you have some kind of normative value on it. But the appropriate level of participation should be adjusted according to the research topic, the type of data, or the skills needed. So you have to look at what is useful in this project or in this kind of research. And I've been doing quite a lot of research, user-involved research in the mental health field, and I think it's very important to be realistic about these participation ambitions we have. What can we actually achieve? And also to consider power issues, like it can be hard to be on equal term, even if this is the ambition. And I also think it's important that co-creation doesn't come just easily. It must be worked on. It must be carefully planned. It must be you must enable the citizens to participate in research and innovation. For example, I worked very hard with the people with mental health problems to give them a language, to help them to find a language and to dare to speak in larger groups, for example. So this is an important part of it. And then should I say just a little bit about UCount, going the project. And the reason we do this is only to give you some ideas of how citizen social science can be set up in practice. So that is most of the idea. So the objectives for the project is to generate new knowledge and innovation, to increase social inclusion of young people at risk of exclusion across Europe through co-creative youth citizen social science. And youth in a broad sense, from 15 to 29 years old, in 9 countries will participate as citizen scientists in case studies to explore positive drivers for social participation, employment, social belonging to a place, and citizenship. And we will include, for example, young people who live in disadvantaged rural or urban areas, people with hearing loss, people with other kinds of disabilities, or migrants, for example. And based on the data they help us with, or the research they participate in, Then we will create a psychosocial model for social inclusion and to develop policy briefs and educational materials with tools and best practices for use citizen social science. And we will also evaluate the outcome of citizen social science through this project. What we're going to do is that this year we will develop this conceptual framework for setting up co-creative youth citizen social science. And we will do this together with youth, experts and stakeholders, and include an ECSA. And then to plan and recruit the study. And then in next year, then we will conduct the hands-on citizen science locally through the case studies. It's going to be 9 case studies in 9 countries. And then to evaluate how we are going to work and how it works in practice. And we will train young people to participate as young citizen scientists and participate in the whole research process. And last year, then we will develop all this knowledge about social inclusion and co-evaluate the outcomes of youth citizen social science and identify best practices. And also the cost and benefits of using citizen social science. So just how we have designed the case study is just an example. We are going to make quite broad or big research teams where we include 8 to 15, we said, young citizens, youth from the community, and then about 2 students from the universities to work together with researchers in doing this case study. And then the young citizen sciences, they will participate in collecting the data about young people's perspectives on and experience with positive drivers for social inclusion. And we will use dialogue forums or focus group interviews. We will develop an app together with SpotRun, where young people can provide data about their experiences in daily life. And then we will develop innovation and policymaking in living labs together with key stakeholders in the community. NGOs, policymakers, administrators, social services, etc. And then we will disseminate and discuss results and implication in national workshop. And then we will have, like I said, an evaluation where the young people will provide data about their experiences with being a young citizen scientist. And we will also have an evaluation of the individual and social outcomes for participants, including those the stakeholders in living labs through a mixed methods design using qualitative and quantitative measures. So where are we at this stage? One of the key challenges we can see, because we're quite ambitious about this participatory engagement with young people, is how we can recruit and engage young people with disadvantages and those who are often further away from science. We are like going from migrants, people newly arrived in Europe. We are working with people who are not so used to scientific research. And we're also thinking about how can we secure real participation in the activities on local, national, and European level. So we really, how can we engage young people in the best way? And also, how can we make research and innovation more youth-friendly? Because like we have these formal meetings might be very boring for them, and different kind of language, for example, than we use. So, and this is where we are now. So that's why we thought about having a group work with you, where you, when you can think about if you should set up a citizen social science project for vulnerable groups in your community, for example, on the national levels. With what kind of social problems would you think citizen science could help to solve for you? How would you attract volunteers, in particular those who are further away from science, as I described? And how should or could they participate in your project or initiatives, for example? what levels of participation would be good, what could be potential here for you to use. So, and then Eglé will show you how to work on this Padlet. She has made a Padlet for you where you can, if you go into breakout rooms, you can use the Padlet and to add your thoughts on these questions. Then you will, after about 20 minutes, you will come back to the plenary room and then discuss what you have discussed, to say it like that. Eglé, do you want to comment on this or?
Yes, just briefly saying that actually in total we have now 20 minutes for our practical part of this seminar, and let's keep working for 15 minutes in break rooms, and after 15 minutes let's come back and just reflect what have you found, what are the major topics you distinguished in your talks, and how you can briefly answer these 3 questions.
Yeah,
I already sent to the chat the link to Padlet. You can go there now and test if everything is working.
I have a question.
Yeah, that was my point. Do someone has a question? I forgot to ask about that before moving into the, sorry.
So yes, let's maybe in the group there are some questions. I would like to start with one. Reidun, I didn't get clarity if the students, if the youth are involved in the design of the research. If you go to one slide before, I think there you have the
here?
that one. So the case study design. So it says research team including, and that means that the team is also designing and collecting the data?
Yeah, so the point is that the young people from the community, what we call trained young people, it means that they will have some kind of education in research, or they will work together with the researchers as co-researchers, is the way we often call it. And then they will also work with, like at Oslo Met, with 2 students from social work. They are also young people, and so we try to work across the university setting with young people from university settings, with young people in the community. And also they will work together with the researchers from the start as soon as possible. So we are trying to recruit people now. They will work together with us, but the students will have their master's degree on specific topics when it comes to accounts. So they will do their master thesis on that.
Thank you. Yeah. Does anyone have another question related to what we just heard from Reidun and Eglé before we go to the breakout rooms? I have another practical question, Eglé. Do you speak Russian?
Yes, I can speak.
Yes, so I thought of so we could have the 3 groups, and one will be with Soriana and the other one with Maxim, that they can, and another one with Eglé, so you can also help with the conversation within a group. Would that be okay?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And Reidun will go to the 3 groups or the other 2 groups to see how is it going. Is that okay?
Yeah, and you will just
I will make
you will
the rooms now.
relocate me around.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction, and it was also actually very good that you talk about the levels of participation that came from Mookie, because we have just already touched upon that topic of typologies and a little bit of the history of typologies, and we finished with that ones. And so it was good that you remind and refresh those concepts that we have just talked about.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, I don't see. Okay, I will open the rooms and maybe we can.
Should I stop sharing maybe?
Maybe you
Stop
can.
sharing, yes.
Yeah, but you can share again the screen where the instructions are. So
Yeah, okay. So you can have the questions.
yes, Soriana, could you tell the
Actually,
questions?
questions are in the Padlet.
Okay.
So you should not like look at the here in the slides. You just can go to the Padlet and you will find all the questions there.
Okay, everyone could access easily the Padlet. So can I see like
Maybe-
thumbs up?
Yeah.
Колеги, зайдіть за тим посиланням, що скинули, і там будуть ці 3 питання, на які ми маємо в групах обговорити.
I can briefly share how it looks like just for everyone to understand.
I stopped sharing it then.
Yeah, good. If you can. So I just share for everyone just to have an idea where we have to go. Okay, so we have to arrive here, this link.
Yes.
And maybe just brief reflections. Is it okay? Have you managed to go there?
Колеги, може підніміть палець, чи що там, напишіть, чи ви зайшли всі туди в цей Padlet. Yes. Зайшов деякі.
Слухай, Зоряна, скажи, в яку групу іти все-таки?
А групу зараз нас порозкидують, не переживай. Вони нам показують ці питання, і зараз нас буде як минулий раз.
Я бачу питання, та.
Yes, they all can see this.
Okay. Now I will split you in groups, and then I will bring you back in 12 minutes, more or less, 12-15 minutes. Okay. See you soon.
So I'm joining group number 3, right?
Yeah, but just a sec. Yes.
Okay.
No, actually, no, you are not assigned yet, but I will put you in room number 2.
Okay. Good.
And Reidun, I will assign you in group number 1. Okay. Dorte?
Yeah.
I'm looking. I want to join a group, but I don't see any option that I can join a group. I think as a host I can't. No.
Can you?
Do you want to join a group?
Yeah, or I can stay here and you can make me host, and then you should probably be able to go to.
Okay. Let's try to do that.
So, wo möchtest du hin?
Could be any, basic 1 or 2 or 3.
Okay. So in room 3 are less people, and I think in one is Eglé and. Oh yeah, I don't know. Why?
Just choose like randomly.
Okay.
Okay.